Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my definitive, unrehearsed tier list for Starsector 0.98. We are actually using for this the 0.97A ship tier list maker from the tier maker website, simply because no one has made one for the current version. And there are only two ships, I think, that are not on the list, which would be the Onslaught Mark I and the Anubis. And of course, on any tier list, given the current state of the game, the Anubis would be in its own tier. So we're just going to go forward as though it doesn't exist. Beginning with Regular Afflictor. Now, the Afflictor in player hands is extremely good. The Afflictor in AI hands kind of gets relegated to being set to a build where it can use its ship system and stay out of trouble. So, kind of up and down on that. I think we will put the Afflictor in B tier, along with its friend, the Pirate Afflictor. The Apogee. The Apogee is a ship you can start with by choosing one of the default game starts, one of the faster start options. It has very good shields, flare launcher, a lot of variety on weapon mounts, but I've honestly never seen them do particularly well. And I don't think I've ever tried or seen anyone take Apogees into like endgame content. But it is a very good all-rounder ship to have, so we're going to put that in C tier. Astral. Well, I am high-tech biased, I'll tell you that now. So an Astral is not something that I'd put in A tier. I wouldn't say that you should always have an Astral, right? Or that it's the best possible capital. So we're going to shove it in B tier, because when you cover it in Trident bombers and give it the right build, it will generally perform pretty dang good. Atlas Mark II. The only videos I've seen with Atlas Mark II doing particularly well are when they are built, basically a ton of them in a row to throw a bunch of fire down lane. I have used them here and there successfully. You can make a pirate-themed fleet and get decent results, but honestly, given how hard it is to use and set up and then command on the field, we're going to put it down in D tier. Aurora. Oh, Aurora. Especially safety overridden, especially player piloted. I think the Aurora is unmatched. I think we're going to put that in A tier. You can also do a variety of builds with them in AI hands, and they will do quite well, even on like the balanced auto fit. Now, I have no idea why the brawler sprites are so large, so we're just going to fit these in somehow. I think a regular brawler goes down in D tier. Athletic Path Brawler gets the B tier treatment because it comes with built-in safety overrides. You can do a lot of work either in Athletic Path Brawler player piloted or by using like 5 or 6 of them in your own fleet. For the 90 seconds or so of uptime they get, they will tear things up as long as they are not the only ships in your fleet. Even then, if you have enough of them, you might get results. Lions Guard Brawler. I have never used this thing. We're going to put it down in F tier. High-Tech Brawler. Same deal. I barely ever use this. There's probably a niche case use for them, but if you know, let me know in the comments. Buffalo. Buffalo Mark II is the subject of many memes, but should you take one in regular everyday usage? Probably not, but it is a very cheap way to get a converted hangar wing in your fleet. We'll put it down in D tier. Centurion. Regular Centurion. I think regular Centurion is really good, a really good all-rounder, and very durable, especially in current game version. We're going to put it in C tier. I would never turn down having some Centurions as my frigate. Lions Guard Centurion, again, I have no experience. We're just going to put it in F tier. You tell me your thoughts on that one. Cerberuses. Cerberuses, generally pick them up, discard them when you get something better, but I'm not unhappy having them. Just, they are very disposable. That's why they come with rugged construction. D tier. Champion. Oh, Champion. Champion can get really good results with the right build, even against endgame things. We're going to put that in B tier. Colossus Mark II Ludic Path version. You probably shouldn't be using this, but it does fit a hammer barrage on the front, so D tier. Similarly, the Pirate Colossus, you should probably use a Condor instead, unless you really need the cargo capacity and the hangars in one ship. And to that note, the Condor, definitely going in C tier. You may also be seeing the logistics tree down here with all the logistics ships in it. We're not going to talk about those. I've put them down there. They can, just sit over there and not be judged. It's pretty obvious which logistics ship you should use based on your needs and your fleet size, so we won't talk about them too much. Conquest. Oh, Conquest. I've had pretty good results with the Conquest. I actually haven't used one in probably over a year. It's been a while since I've messed around heavily with midline. We're going to put it in C tier. Playing against Conquests, you'll find that you can probably overflux and kill them pretty easily by flanking, depending on what other ships the enemy may have. Dominator. Now, due to my recent experiments with Dominators, I'm somewhat biased. We're going to fit those into B tier, just because I think they may be a bit better than people think. Doom. Doom is another ship, like the Afflictor, where when player piloted, it accelerates into being half or more of your fleet's total damage. But in AI hands, do we trust the Doom? I don't think we do, so we're going to put it in here in B tier, right next to, or in front of the Afflictor. There we go. Drover. I really like the Drover. I like the Drover more than a Condor as a carrier. B-Deck is a very unique hull mod that helps with fighter replacement that only the Drover gets. Also, the missile slots up front, I think will land it solidly in B tier. Eagles. Eagles are average, very average. We're just going to put those two Eagles into C tier. I don't have much to say about the Eagle. You just build it and it just works. The Lion's Guard Eagle I do have something to say about, which is I don't know what I'm doing with it. We're going to put it in the F tier for figure that out later. Enforcers. Okay, this is also pretty straightforward. Pirate Enforcer goes down. Actually, don't they all have burn drive? I think they all have burn drive, so they all probably deserve a spot in C tier. Enforcers are just good. Just good little support ships. Eradicator. I will basically always take an Eradicator, whether player piloted or as something in my fleet. So Eradicator, I think, gets to go in A tier, with its distant cousin, the Pirate Eradicator with burn drive, getting to live in C tier, because accelerated ammo feeder is a lot of what makes Eradicator very effective. Executors. We will probably need to do, or I probably should do, more videos on Executors later, but Executors properly built, which I have not shown that build yet, because the credit for that build actually belongs to Mr. G for the most part, and I'm kind of waiting for him to showcase it. But Executors, properly built, can fight every piece of content in the game. I know, that may be hard to believe based on how easy enemy Executors are to kill in bounties, but they do work. Trust me on this. Similarly, the Falcon. I will take a Falcon into any fight, as even if it's the only ship in my fleet. I've seen Spectros do it. You can win almost anything with enough Falcons and a few other ships. So both of the more ballistically inclined Falcons will go up in A tier. Lion's Guard Falcon goes in the Figure It Out tier. And the Pirate Falcon, with all the missiles, gets to go in C tier. Pirate Falcon is very fun early on, like if it's your only cruiser and you're fighting very small numbers of ships, just having an absurd number of Reapers to throw down lane will swing those fights in your favor. Fury. I think Furies are really good. I wouldn't take them over an Aurora or an Eradicator, but I think they're really good right now. So we're going to put them in B tier. They're just solidly good all around. Probably put some shield hull mods on them so that they don't get flanked and popped or plasma burn into issues, but other than that, pretty great. Gemini. Oh, Gemini. If you don't have anything else, you could use a Gemini to fill one of its various roles, but there you go. Then we have Gremlins. So all the Gremlins kind of work the same. You just kind of put missiles on them and you hope and pray. I don't have a ton of experience making Gremlins work as a fleet. I think I tried it the once and had okay results, but Gremlins are very strong when player piloted. They're not Afflictor strong, they're still pretty strong, and I think just their ability to delete like onslaughts and stuff when player piloted, we're going to land all those solidly in D tier, demoted all the way down from higher tiers just because there's really not a good use case for them in AI hands in your fleet. Grendels. Grendels go in A tier. Hypervelocity driver Grendels or assault chain gun safety overridden Grendels can fight basically any content in the game right now. And you can do it as a Grendel mono fleet if you're feeling extra spicy. So, Grendels, A tier. Griffin. Oh, Griffin. Griffin can do things, but Griffin also explodes when confronted. It's a very specialized ship. I tend to have mixed results with them. They're going in C tier. I should probably give them more playtime. Okay, and real fast, Lion's Guard Hammerhead down into the Figure It Out Later tier, and then a regular Hammerhead straight into C tier. I don't have much to say about the Hammerhead. You just kind of point the guns in a direction and shoot stuff. They work very well on a variety of builds. Harbinger. Oh, Harbinger. I would almost always rather have an Afflictor. We're going to put Harbinger down in D tier. or even maybe an F tier. No, it probably doesn't deserve F tier. We'll put it in D tier. It has use cases. I'm not sure I've seen anyone player pilot one super successfully in a long time in many game versions, but D tier it is. Heron. Heron with the triple fighter bays, with the targeting feed for the massive damage, or rather the 50% bonus damage to fighter damage. I think we put that up above the Condor at least. We want it in B tier. It's a very good carrier. Hounds. Hounds, I feel about the same about all the Hound variants as I do about the Cerberus. I use them interchangeably as disposable point runners in early, mid, and late game. Just safety override them, put an assault chain gun on them, and let them go. Let them go capture a point so you can deploy your other ships. Hyperions. If we were only talking about player piloted, we'd put them in A tier, but I don't think that is where they go. If we consider the overall state of things, let's put them in C tier, just because, I don't know, do any of you use Hyperions in your fleet that aren't player piloted? I would be curious to know. I haven't tried very often. I don't remember having particularly exciting results compared to packing, say, 3 Enforcers for the deployment point cost. Alright, now we've got something big and fun. The Invictus. The Invictus can fight every piece of content in the game with a decent support fleet, or with just a second Invictus and a little bit less of a support fleet. So if you have the skill set, the patience to pilot an Invictus, I think that goes in A tier. Kites. Oh, where do we even put kites? Kites occupy a strange space, kind of like how I would treat a Cerberus or a Hound. A little less disposable since they don't have rugged construction. We're just going to shove them in D tier. You can get really good early game value out of kites with expanded missile racks and hammers, but this is an overall tier list, not an early game tier list. Lashers. I'm only really familiar with the default Lasher, which I think is a pretty good frigate. We're going to put it in B tier. You can get away with using Lashers against most of the content in the game. Would I rather have something else? Probably, but they work. And we'll put the Ludic Church Lasher in there. I'm not so sure about the Ludic Path Lasher. I guess if you're doing a safety override fleet, that would be fine, but otherwise, probably not. Put it in C tier. Legions. Legions can fight any piece of content in the game. That's kind of the standard for A tier here, so both Legions are going to go up in A tier. You can always rely on a Legion. Manticores. Manticores are in an interesting spot. I think they are still pretty dang good. We're going to put the Pirate and the regular one in B tier, Ludic Path one in C tier, because it's a little more restrictive in how you use it. Medusas, my favorite destroyer, straight to A tier. I have personally used Medusas against every piece of content in the game as my only destroyer in my fleet, so I think they're pretty good. Highly recommend. They're also very easy to set up and just not give orders to or worry about, because they stay out of trouble pretty well on long-range builds. Okay, we have a few things left to go through here. The Mora. The Mora, I don't know what I would pick over between Heron or Mora. It depends, I guess, on if I needed damage or something that can kind of off-tank. The Mora would, of course, be the tanking choice, the Heron for the damage. I think Mora deserves to be at least equal. B tier it is. Mudskipper Mark II. What about Mudskipper Mark II? What about it is not perfect? Behold its ability to wield a large gun, something no other frigate can do. And I've never seen one get used in any serious capacity, so it must just be so good that we don't even consider it in most tier lists or builds. We're going to put Mudskipper Mark II where it deserves to be, right up there in A tier. Always use it, but it's so strong that you probably shouldn't consider it. It will unbalance your game completely. Mules. I have a soft spot for mules. Mules are like one of the first ships I ever got my hands on when I just started playing. I think they're solidly average. Would I take a mule over an enforcer? Absolutely not. Would I take a mule over most of the things I've put in D tier? Yes. Yes, I would. Odyssey. Oh, Odyssey. So the Odyssey is an interesting one in that when player piloted, it probably belongs in A tier if you are good at piloting it. And if you are letting the AI drive it, it's probably going to wind up not being very good. I would honestly put it in D or even in forget about it if you were leaving it in AI hands. But because we have to average those two things, it being not very good in AI hands and it being very good in player hands, we're going to put it in C tier. If you have an AI build for an Odyssey that you've used and have footage of, do let me know down below. Link me a video. I would love to see them in use, non-player piloted, if anyone can make them particularly successful. Omens. Omens are going to go right up there in A tier. They are just good, very effective EMP emitter, very good tanking ship primarily. So remember, they're A tier in the context that they are a defensive frigate. Onslaughts. Onslaughts, I know we're putting a lot of things in A tier. Onslaughts belong in A tier. They can approach every piece of content in the game, and some people have beaten all the content in the game using basically nothing but onslaughts. So, pretty absurd. I think the Onslaught 14th Battle Group version is getting a slight increase to its deployment cost next update, so I don't know that that'll be enough to drop it a tier, though. I don't think it will. I think it'll still just be good. Paragon. Of course, the Paragon also belongs in A tier. Let's arrange this here a little bit. Let's make sure the Onslaughts are where they deserve to be, up in the front there, along with the Grendel and the Legions. Something like that, probably. I would rather have a Paragon than a Grendel, of course, so we'll kind of line it up like so. Not gonna fiddle with the rest. I mean, oh yeah, we're gonna fiddle with all of them. Get those capital ships to the front. But yeah, in order of preference, I would probably choose an Onslaught, then a Paragon, then a Legion, then an Invictus, then an Executor if I had to choose to build an endgame fighting fleet. Oh, and of course, we're not talking about the Ziggurat, because the Ziggurat would also be up in its own special S tier at the top, huh? Pegasus. Pegasus, just due to the limited quantity of the missiles, don't think it can go in A tier because it will kind of fold in long engagements because it runs out of DPS. Player piloted, with all the red skills in the world, definitely A tier. Regular use, though, I honestly don't see a lot of them in footage on YouTube. So if you have a video of fighting anything interesting with your own Pegasus builds, let me know. Phantom's a logistics ship. How did this slip past me? That goes in the logistic tier. Prometheus Mark II. I put it right about where I would the Atlas Mark II. Good to use if you have nothing else. It's actually a bit more of a generalist, I would say, than the Atlas Mark II. Let's actually put it in C tier. I would unironically pick up either Atlas Mark II or Prometheus Mark II if I just need baby's first capital. But for second capital, yeah, I would grab another Prometheus Mark II if I had no other option. They have a lot of variety of mounts. They have burn drive. They're kind of squishy, but they also carry fuel, so there's that. Retribution, solidly B tier. It works okay in AI hands. It works like an Odyssey in player hands, but because it works okay or better in AI hands, I put it in B tier. Now, when I say works better, you need to not deploy it with the main body of your fleet at the start of a fight. You either need to give it orders so it stays back, or you need to deploy it late in a fight so it can act as like a sweeper to come in after some ships have been weakened. If you deploy it first to the fight, it will just Orion drive ahead of everything and die. So be mindful of that. Revenant, logistics tier. Scarab. I haven't seen anyone use a Scarab in a while. I'm pretty sure they're still good. I don't normally mess with them. We're going to put them in C tier. Shades. Shades honestly occupy a similar role in combat to an Afflictor, but they lack the power of Entropy Amplifier. We're going to put those in C tier. They're not bad to have. They have EMP emitter. They are the defensive version of the phase ship that the Afflictor is, right? So, I don't know. They have niche use cases where they're really good. Shrike. Oh, Shrike. Sorry, buddy, Shrike. You're going to have to go down in D tier. I will almost never use you unless you're all I have in the early game. Lion's Guard Sunder is going to go in the figure it out later tier, and regular Sunder is going to go up in B tier. So if you can keep them alive, they are very good deadly laser pointers. Very good escort ships for offensive kind of escort. Tempest. I think the Tempest is about on par with the Omen, except that it is offensively aligned rather than defense. I've used Tempests against everything in the game, had a great time, and never had to baby them too much, so it goes up here in A tier, right with the Omen and the Mudskipper Mark II. Ventures. Oh, Venture. So I know a lot of people ignore the Venture, but I think the Venture is cool, and maybe not super good, but still has a place in a fleet as a cargo brick, something to throw away when you need to retreat. Like, would I ever plan around building it as part of my combat fleet? No. Do I have one in my fleet a lot? Yes. So, because of that sweet spot, Ventures are going in C tier, especially the basic Venture. It's not particularly exciting. Now, the Red, or the Pirate Venture, it's a large missile slot, which gives it a niche role as a support ship, which, once it's out of missiles, can then just be part of the line. Would I take it over the regular Venture? That's the question. I don't know. I love all the Ventures equally. I think they all have to go in the tier, but also the Ludic Path Venture is unironically good in Ludic Path fleets. Not in any other style of non-safety oriented fleet, though, but it does a really good work. Having Orion drive, having a bunch of jackhammer pods, there is value there. So don't sleep necessarily on the venture, but don't go out of your way. Don't go out of your way to try and make them into an endgame killer. It's not going to work. Vigilance. Oh, vigilance. Honestly, they have a medium missile mount, and they have a medium ballistic mount, so there is a use case there, just not a use case that I mess with very much. But in its role, there is nothing else, so C tier. Wayfarer. Wayfarer is a little cargo brick, but unless you're, reducing its sensor profile, putting solar shielding on it, and using it for early game smuggling, probably not that useful. It goes in with the kites and the shrikes and things in D tier. Wolves. Wolves are pretty cool. I think a regular high-tech wolf gets to go up in C tier. It is a very respectable ship, very good at what it does. Phase skimmer toward or away from enemies, shoot stuff, very good. But the pirate wolf, due to the restriction on the direction in which it can phase teleport, phase skim, goes down in D tier. And the orange or hegemony auxiliary variant wolf that I barely ever use is also going to go down in D tier. And now we're out of ships, and that is the entire tier list, everyone. So I will put it here, scroll down a little so you can see the logistics row, and that is my unfiltered, unscripted thoughts on every ship in the game. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have edge cases? Do you want to share? Do you have any fun combat footage that I may not have seen? All of that. And if you have a favorite ship, you could write up your build down in the comments, because of course I've not built all these ships all the various ways. That would be a long project, so let me know. Tell me what your builds are, and maybe I'll give them a try in a future video or live stream. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and the lovely people supporting the channel through Patreon memberships or YouTube memberships. Thank you so much for your support. And to all viewers, you are all truly wonderful, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.